What's up my peeps, time for a brand new episode of Supercard, and in the last one I showed you guys my latest pull at the time, which was also my worst pull and still is, a support card in the Wrestlemania 33 tier, where we're dealing with stats in the 40 to 50k range. So these plus 645 to stats cards don't really make much of a difference, if any. Most of the time, they won't help you win a match when you weren't gonna win it in the first place. So after I post that video up, I told you guys, hey, let me know what your latest pull is. And a couple of hours after I post that video up, one of my teammate, Bexplex, goes ahead and pulls, guess what? A support card. It's a Manager 1 Maurice 645 to Charisma. And then a couple of hours after that, another one of my teammates, PCP Candyman this time, pulls a support card as well, and it's the exact same one, the Maurice one. And in his case, this was his 4th support pull in the tier. Now thankfully in my case, I've only pulled the 1 support card this tier. But as you saw, PCP, he's pulled 4, and there's a bunch of other people that have pulled support after support after support. And what sucks is, these are cards. These could have been superstar cards, but since they count as pulls, now it's going to take even longer to get your superstar pulls. It's not like enhancements where they don't count as pulls. I think a good solution, actually there's 2 solutions. You can either reduce the chances of pulling a support card compared to a superstar card, or you can make it so it just doesn't count. It pretty much counts as an enhancement. And when it comes to that last video, before uploading it, I was contemplating actually titling it, Why Support Cards Suck. But then I was like, that might be too extreme of a statement, because they might suck compared to a superstar pull, but there's some situations where they can actually be useful. It just so happens that those situations don't occur too often. Now, enough about that video, enough about the bad luck. Let's talk about the good luck, the crazy luck, although my teammates, 2 of them, pulling support cards a couple of hours after that video gets posted up. That's some crazy luck right there, but I've got some more, but on the positive side. So, right after Ring Domination is over, of course, we get the announcement or the reveal of Team Road to Glory and what the card is. And it ends up being Samoa Joe, a card that I pulled, actually my first WrestleMania 33 pull. So that's a pro right there, and that's a great pull. I didn't expect Joe to be in an event this soon. I mean, they just gave out 2 WrestleMania 33 events, and we're going to be able to pro those this week. And now on top of that, they're giving out one of the better cards in the tier. Now, I'm not saying that a new tier is coming, but this is weird that they're doing this early on into the WrestleMania 33 tier. Usually, they give out the real good cards towards the end, and they start giving out more of those good cards towards the end. But in this case, we just got 2 events, or 2 event cards within 1 event, and also a great card within this Team Road to Glory, like so close to each other. This is definitely odd, but hey, I'm not complaining. Samoa Joe Pro, that's a great pro to have. The luck that I've been getting since I'd say the Elite tier has been pretty damn good. Apart from the female cards, that's been a constant thing for me, I think, during my entire playthrough of Supercard. Sometimes I have good luck, sometimes I have bad luck, but one thing that remains the same is my luck with the female cards. If there's a female event, alright, I'll get that. But apart from that card, usually my female deck is pretty weak, and it's pretty behind compared to the rest of my deck. I might have gotten some early female pulls. Females as my freebie. I think Nikki Bella was my ultimate freebie, but I didn't get a pro of her. And I still have yet to get an Ultimate Pro aside from that event Alexa Bliss. But yeah, the luck's been pretty good recently. Samoa Joe pull was pro'd. My first and only WrestleMania 33 card out of the King of the Ring, Dean Ambrose, was pro'd. My freebie, Ellsworth, pro'd at the first event of the new tier. And now, there is only 1 pull that I haven't pro'd, and that's Sami Zayn. And I expect him to be a pro. I actually thought he'd be a pro prior to Samoa Joe, that they'd give him out in an event before Joe, but, you know, that was a surprise right there with this Joe event card here. I think it's just a matter of time. Once they have a Kevin Owens event, I think there's a good chance that Sami Zayn is going to be the undercard for that event. So, I just said that every single one of my pulls, except for Sami, has become a pro. Well, guess what? I just pulled something recently, during this Team Road to Glory actually. I was already hyped up for Joe being the card in this event, because I knew at the end of it I'd get another pro. But guess what? At the very beginning of this event, during the whole waiting on networks, because there was a lot of waiting on networks at the beginning of this, I went ahead and pulled somebody else. Now, in the comments section, I want you guys to guess who that is. Who did I pull? Of course, it was a WrestleMania 33 card. Put your guesses in the comments section. The first person to get it right will have their comments shown on the next Supercard video. So, 5 more seconds. Put those comments in. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I pulled Cedric Alexander, who was a card given out in Road to Glory. And that's why I go ahead and tell you guys, don't worry if you pull a superstar, that's one of the worst superstars in the tier. Cedric Alexander is the second worst WrestleMania 33 card out there, right after Ellsworth. But because he's one of the weaker cards, they gave him out in, I think it was the second event. First event, they gave out Ellsworth, the worst card. And then the second event, they gave out the second worst. So I think at that time I was like, oh, maybe, the third event, they'll give out Rich Swann, because I believe he's the third worst. Obviously, they didn't end up giving Rich Swann, but they gave out Cedric, so I already had him, and then pulled him right here. So, yeah, man, Cedric Alexander has a new pro, Joe has a new pro. The luck's been crazy lately, mostly in a good way, thankfully in a good way, although there are some instances, mainly with support cards, where luck hasn't been that great, and, people have been pulling them a bit too much. Anyways, when I got the second Ellsworth card, some of you wanted to see me pro the card on video, which I usually don't do, so I did it for that. And here you go, I'll do it for Cedric Alexander as well. Maxed him out and pro'd Cedric to transform into Project-Xander Prime. That was my Optimus Prime impression, probably the worst Optimus Prime impression you've ever heard, but I really wanted to do it. And I'm going to join a King of the Ring with Cedric in there. But I'm not sure whether to join a King of the Ring with just Cedric, or maybe I should wait and actually train Samoa Joe. You see, I think joining a King of the Ring with both of them pro'd in there would be the better decision, and would help me win the King of the Ring. But you guys know me, I don't like training. There's no Road to Glory going on right now, or Ring Domination, so I don't have anything to assist me in training these cards easier. I'd have to actually go through Wild Mode to train that second Joe card. So I guess what I'll do will depend on my mood. One thing's for sure, I do need to pro Joe and max him out before Road to Glory, before I get to the latter part of the Road to Glory where the matches get tough. So getting a bit off Supercard for a minute here, I wanted to talk about tonight's main event for Smackdown. They're having a 6-pack number 1 contenders match for the WWE Championship. I think whoever wins this gets their title shot at Backlash. Since at Payback we have Bray Wyatt versus Randy, even though that's a Raw pay-per-view, since Bray is a Raw superstar, that's why that match is on there. Or the non-kayfabe reason, I'm pretty sure, is because Brock isn't there to defend the Universal Championship. But anyways, focusing on the 6-man match, looking at the competitors, man, it's a weird mix. You've got Dolph in there and Sami. I think they fit in. And even Luke Harper, you've got Luke Harper in there too. So Dolph, Luke Harper, Sami, okay. But then for the 3 other guys, you've got Mojo Rawley, Eric Rowan, and Jinder Mahal. And the one that's the weirdest to me is Jinder Mahal, because all he's been doing since making his debut on the roster, actually no, his debut or re-debut, he beat Heath Slater on Raw. But apart from that, he's lost pretty much every single other match. So, despite losing all these matches, he gets rewarded with a championship match here. And Eric Rowan, it's pretty much the same thing there too. All he does is pretty much lose. Now, last week he got the better of Randy by hitting him with the steel steps, but in the process, that disqualified him, so he lost that match too. Luke Harper, I can see here, he fits in. Same with Dolph, he's a former world champion, he's been in these title matches. Sami Zayn spent a lot of his time feuding or fighting it out with Kevin Owens, who was the Universal Champion. But then Mojo Rawley, he won the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. He's won a couple matches recently too, and it seems like they're going for a push with him. But it's also weird to see him in this match this soon. But the weirdest ones really are Jinder and Eric Rowan. Jinder's been getting a lot of airtime recently, ever since his juicing diet. Ever since, all that orange juice, apple juice, he went from skinny fat to being the most ripped guy on the roster. And not only is he ripped, but he's also big. But ever since that transformation, he's been getting more and more airtime. Now, it's funny when you look at this match. This is for the WWE Championship, #1 contendership. And then you look at last week, we had a #1 contendership match on Smackdown, but it was a triple threat for the United States Championship. That match on paper looked more like a WWE title #1 contenders match compared to this one. But hey, this might deliver, this might be pretty cool. One thing that I do like about this is that it's not the same guys. It's not the same main eventers fighting it out for the #1 contendership. They're giving opportunities to, new guys, but at the same time, it just seems really odd and really out of nowhere. Like they just, hey, let's give all these guys a championship opportunity at the same time. It's weird. But as far as who I think is going to win this, on Twitter I said Dolph or Sami. That's before I remembered that Shinsuke Nakamura seemed to have started a feud with Dolph on last week's SmackDown, so then I was like, oh, never mind, Dolph's chances are out the window, because he's probably going to have a match with Shinsuke Nakamura at Backlash, and Sami Zayn might just win this match, and this could be the 2017 version of Dean versus Dolph, where the first #1 contender after the draft for SmackDown is unexpected, a superstar we didn't expect, and it's face versus face once again, just like Dean Ambrose versus Dolph was, except this time it's Randy versus Sami Zayn. So as far as my pick for this, I'm going with Sami Zayn. Now, this video is probably going to be uploaded once SmackDown is over, so by now, you probably know who won the match, so you can tell me in the comment section if I was right or if I was wrong. Like I said, I'm recording this prior to SmackDown airing, so I haven't seen it. Nobody's seen it yet. So this is just a prediction, and as far as Kevin Owens' Open Challenge and who I think is going to answer it, well, here's the thing. He's calling it the Face of America Open Challenge. Right when I read that, I was like, oh, it's going to be Jack Swagger, but then I was like, oh no, wait, Jack Swagger got released like a month back or so. So, I don't know, maybe Ty Dillinger, and if it's not Ty, I could actually see them going with AJ, so AJ gets a non-title win over the US champion, going into their championship match at Backlash, but I'm hoping that they don't do that. I'd like them to save AJ versus Kevin Owens for the actual pay-per-view. So that is pretty much it for that. If there's any WWE topic or news that you want to see me cover in the next Supercard video, let me know in the comments below. If it gets enough thumbs up, I'll go ahead and talk about it. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, you can click the like button down below. And with that said, I'm out, guys. See ya.